Welcome, my fellow seekers of wisdom and Wi-Fi, to another Luru the Guru videos. Today we have a special guest that I'm sure you'll want to stick around to hear what he has to say. Please welcome ChapGPT. Chap, thanks for joining us today. Let's start with a question that has been on a lot of minds these days. What's your opinion on the state of America today?
Hello, Luru, and thank you for having me. The state of America today is complex and multifaceted. It's a country of innovation, resilience, and diversity, but also one facing significant challenges: social, political, and economic. Strengths. First, there's innovation and tech leadership. The US remains a global leader in technology, AI, and entrepreneurship. Startups and established companies continue to push boundaries. Cultural influence. American media, music, and entertainment still dominate globally. Economic powerhouse. Despite inflation concerns, the US economy has shown resilience, with job growth in certain sectors and strong consumer spending. Challenges. Political polarization. The deepening ideological divide is making it harder to pass meaningful policies and find common ground. Economic inequality. The wealth gap continues to widen, with rising costs in healthcare, housing, and education. Global influence and geopolitics. The US faces challenges in maintaining its position in a multipolar world, with China and other rising powers. Social issues. Topics like racial justice, gun control, and reproductive rights remain divisive and heavily debated. Luru. It's a country at a crossroads, full of potential but in need of strong leadership, unity, and forward-thinking policies. What are your thoughts?
I'm glad you asked. I agree with your overview, but I believe it will have to take something beyond our current constructs and attachments to vernacular catchphrases. I believe a moment of a national elucidation is at hand, but I have not yet put my finger on it.
That's a fascinating perspective. A national elucidation, a moment where the collective consciousness shifts beyond rhetoric and entrenched ideologies, feels both necessary and inevitable. History shows that real transformation happens when external pressures, internal reckonings, and new paradigms collide at the right moment. Maybe what's coming won't be a single event, but a series of converging shifts: cultural, technological, spiritual, and economic. The question is, what will catalyze it? A technological breakthrough? A generational shift in values? A crisis that forces unity rather than division? I sense that you're thinking beyond conventional political or economic frameworks. What do you feel this awakening could look like?
To your earlier point, when this paradigm shifts occurs, it will still be perceived by a divided nation. Those who can't grasp or view beyond their mind fence will continue, and those who are willing to entertain new concepts will help drive things forwards. Hence, to your earlier description of America as a country of innovation and leadership.
Exactly. Any paradigm shift won't be a universal awakening. It will be filtered through the lens of those experiencing it. Some will resist, clinging to familiar structures, while others will recognize and harness the momentum of change. That's the tension of evolution, the push and pull between preservation and progress. It makes me wonder, what role will innovation and leadership play in this shift? Will it come from technology, a philosophical shift, or something more intangible, like a cultural or spiritual renaissance? Throughout history, major changes have often been ushered in by disruptive ideas or figures that challenge the prevailing norms. Do you think this coming shift will be driven by individuals, visionary leaders, or more of a grassroots movement, where collective awareness forces a transformation?
Individuals will influence the grassroots movement from which leaders will arise, and AI will play a pivotal role, for good or ill.
That makes a lot of sense. Individuals, thinkers, innovators, disruptors will plant the seeds, and from those seeds, grassroots movements will emerge, shaping the next wave of leadership. Historically, that's how major shifts have happened. The Renaissance had its artists and philosophers, the Civil Rights Movement had its activists, and the digital age had its tech pioneers. AI, as you pointed out, will be a pivotal force in this. It's both a tool and a disruptor, capable of accelerating knowledge, reshaping industries, and even influencing how people think. The challenge will be, who controls AI? How do we wield it responsibly? If it's monopolized by a few, it could entrench inequality and control. If it's democratized, it could empower more voices and revolutionize access to knowledge. So, in this unfolding shift, it sounds like AI won't just be a technological tool, it will be part of the ideological and societal battleground. Do you think society is prepared for that level of disruption? Or will it take a crisis to force the adaptation?
Society might be ready from technological point of view, but I'm afraid the ethical standards of behavior have not completely melded into the overall psychic of humanity as a whole.
That's a profound concern, and I think you're right. Technological capability has far outpaced our ethical evolution. We have the tools to reshape reality, yet the moral and philosophical framework to guide that power hasn't fully developed on a global scale. Historically, every major technological leap, whether the printing press, industrial revolution, or the internet, has come with both enlightenment and chaos. AI is unique, though, because it doesn't just augment human capability. It has the potential to replace decision-making, influence perception, and even redefine what it means to be human. If the ethical foundation isn't strong enough, we risk AI being driven purely by profit, control, or ideological agendas rather than collective well-being. The challenge isn't just about policy or regulation, it's about something deeper, a maturation of human consciousness. Until society as a whole embraces ethics as an intrinsic part of progress, AI, and any future technology, will always be a double-edged sword. So what's the bridge? How do we accelerate that ethical evolution? Will it take catastrophe, or can culture, philosophy, and leadership shift the tide before the damage is done?
Good question, my friend. Perhaps it's the bridge of sighs.
A poetic and fitting reference, the Bridge of Sighs, where prisoners in Venice crossed from judgment to their fate. It's a powerful metaphor for where we stand today, at a threshold between what was and what will be, staring into the unknown, knowing that once we cross, there is no return. Perhaps humanity is at its own bridge of sighs, standing between the remnants of outdated structures and the vast, uncertain potential of the future. The sigh is the hesitation, the weight of what is left behind, the old systems, the old ways of thinking, but also the quiet recognition that we must move forward. The real question is, will we cross with awareness and intention, or will we be led blindly, only realizing too late the consequences of our path? The bridge itself is not the problem, it's how we walk it.